Somewhere in a lab in China, an engineer looked at a smartphone camera bump and said, "What if it moved? Not zoomed, not rotated slightly for a wide shot, actually moved, tilted, panned, spun in a full circle, tracked your face around a room like it was alive. That phone just launched. It's real. It's shipping in a week. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why this might be the strangest and most genuinely interesting phone release of the year." Before we get into it, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, because this one's worth sticking around for. The feature that gives the phone its name. Honor's new robot phone gets its name from exactly what you'd expect. A small motorized camera gimbal that physically pops up out of the back of the device and moves independently of the phone itself. Honor calls it the titanium Agile gimbal, and it's built with 4 degrees of freedom, meaning it can tilt, pan, roll, and rotate on its own axis, completely independently of however you're holding the phone. It can spin a full 360 degrees with a motor capable of control speeds up to 360 degrees per second. Honor says the whole mechanism went through 60 separate manufacturing processes, uses over 100 precision components, and is protected by more than 100 patents. Compared to mainstream gimbal systems, Honor claims they shrank the overall size by 65%, while somehow increasing structural strength by 200%. This isn't a phone with a gimbal bolted onto it. This is a phone engineered from the ground up around the idea that the camera shouldn't be stuck facing wherever you happen to be pointing the device. What it's actually for. Here's where it stops being a party trick and starts being genuinely useful. The gimbal uses AI subject tracking combined with voice source localization, meaning the camera can automatically pan and tilt to keep you in frame while you're recording a vlog, live streaming, or on a video call, even if you're walking around the room. Picture setting the phone down on a table during a workout video, a cooking demo, or a product unboxing, and having the camera actually follow you instead of leaving you constantly walking back into frame. There are also hands-free gesture controls so you can direct the camera without touching the phone at all. Useful for anyone filming solo who doesn't want to keep breaking the shot to physically adjust the angle. Honor's leaning hard into this being a genuine filmmaking tool, not just a gimmick. They've partnered directly with ARRI, the company behind the cameras used on actual Hollywood film sets, to bring professional-grade color science into the phone. That includes ARRI Log C3 for preserving more brightness and color detail for editing later, ARRI Wide Gamut 3 for a broader color range, and ARRI looks for applying controlled, cinematic color grading directly in camera. This is the same underlying color technology used in actual film production, shrunk down and adapted for a phone sensor. The kind of partnership you'd normally expect from a dedicated cinema camera brand, not a smartphone company. Why a moving gimbal actually matters. Traditional smartphone stabilization, optical image stabilization, or OIS, works by making tiny internal adjustments to counteract shake while you're holding the phone. It's effective, but it's fundamentally limited to smoothing out small movements. It can't reposition the shot. It can't reframe you as you move across a room. It can't rotate to follow a subject that's moving faster than your hand can track. A physical, motorized gimbal changes that equation entirely. Because the camera itself can move independently of the phone's body, you get stabilization and reframing that traditional smartphone cameras simply aren't built to achieve. It's the difference between a camera that reduces shake and a camera that actively directs itself, which is exactly the kind of stabilization normally reserved for dedicated cinema rigs costing thousands of dollars, not a phone in your pocket. The camera hardware behind the movement. Underneath all that motion is a genuinely capable camera system. A 200 megapixel main sensor mounted directly on the moving gimbal arm, paired with a 200 megapixel telephoto lens and a 50 megapixel ultra-wide. Honor also built a custom H1 imaging chip specifically to handle processing for this setup, working alongside a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chip with a custom cooling system, presumably needed given how much extra hardware is packed into this thing. The display is a 6.31-inch OLED panel with adaptive refresh and a peak brightness rated at a genuinely absurd 6,800 nits, well beyond what most flagship phones are currently pushing, foldables and standard slabs included. The numbers that round out the spec sheet. Powering all of this is a massive 7,060 milliampere hour battery, supporting 120-watt wired charging and 50-watt wireless charging. It's available to pre-order in two configurations: 12 gigabytes of RAM with 512 gigabytes of storage, or 16 gigabytes of RAM with a full terabyte. Despite everything packed inside, Honor kept it at 248 grams and 9.59 millimeters thick, which, given there's a mechanical gimbal arm hiding inside, is genuinely impressive engineering restraint. It ships with Android 16 and Honor's own Magic OS 10 on top. The catch. Here's the part that matters if you were already reaching for your wallet. The robot phone is launching at 9,999 Chinese yuan, which converts to roughly 1,500 US dollars. And right now, it's China only. There's no confirmed global release, no confirmed pricing outside China, and no timeline for international availability. Pre-orders are open right now, with official sales and shipments beginning August 18th. Honor's also framing this as more than just a one-off phone. They're opening the platform up to third-party developers, hinting that other companies will eventually be able to build their own experiences using the gimbal, perception, and what Honor is calling embodied interaction capabilities. In other words, Honor doesn't see this as a single weird product. They see it as the start of an entirely new category of device. The bigger picture Honor is quietly building toward. This phone didn't come out of nowhere. Honor first teased the robot phone concept back at its Magic 8 series launch, then gave the public a preview at Mobile World Congress earlier this year, describing it as a new species of smartphone built around what they call embodied intelligence, essentially hardware that can perceive and physically react to its environment, rather than just processing input passively. That same event also showcased Honor's push into humanoid robotics more broadly, alongside its Magic V6 foldable and other ecosystem devices like a new tablet and laptop. The robot phone isn't an isolated experiment. It's one visible piece of a much larger strategy, with Honor positioning itself less as a traditional phone maker and more as what it's now calling an AI terminal ecosystem company. The gimbal, the AI tracking, the embodied interaction platform, all of it points toward Honor betting that the next real leap in personal devices isn't a faster chip or a sharper screen, but hardware that can actually move and respond to the world around it. So, is it actually worth caring about? Look, most smartphone innovation in the last few years has been incremental. Slightly better cameras, slightly bigger batteries, another few hundred million pixels nobody asked for. This is not that. This is a company deciding the camera itself, as a fixed piece of glass sitting flat on the back of your phone, was the actual limitation the entire time, and building a genuinely new mechanical solution instead of a software one. Whether this becomes the future of mobile filmmaking or ends up as a fascinating one-generation experiment that quietly disappears, we genuinely don't know yet. But it's rare that a phone launch actually makes you stop and go, wait, what? Instead of just comparing megapixel counts. This one did. Let me know in the comments if you'd actually want a robot arm popping out of your phone, and subscribe for more breakdowns like this one.